All right. What was that? That's me. I just heard me in the box. That's not good. Not good. All right. About to start the show, guys. We're coming in to the YouTube. Great way to start the first day of the YouTube. Let's see if this is cooking. All right, let's just get it going. I don't know. I should. Oh, I need to. Let's see if this guy. Sound effects. Oh my god, I'm never ready. I said go live. You'd think I'd be ready to do it. Hello, everybody, if you are there. All right. Let's see. Is this Colby's? Let me see if this works. Nope. That's for Colby's code, I think. Saquon MJ. I love it. Saquon definitely goes first. Perfect. What a way to start it off with the bomb sound effects. All right, let's do some ad reads here, and we are good to go. Bottom line bombs. On the Sports Gaming Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, Virginia. Boosted same-game parlays, the live in-game odds. WynnBET is what you need. Bet $100. Get $100. WynnBET.com. Download the WynnBET app. Start winning today. State restrictions apply. Also brought to you by the Sports Gaming Podcast Final Four Watch Party, which is April 1st, 7:30. SGP will be at the Ice House in Los Angeles to come hang out with the crew. All the info at sportsgamingpodcast.com/Ice House. And with that, start the music. That is music being played. Eventually, like I said, I'll have that on the soundboard. I'll do it myself. For the live streamers, I want to make sure we are we get a clock running. Welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs. I'm CJ Sullivan. Show number too hard, I guess. Too hard, too soft, too legit. No, the second I want to, because I was going to say soft opening after the NFL season a couple weeks ago, and this is the hard opening. So this is the episode too hard. This is too hard. I'm going to give out Sweet 16 picks because that's this weekend, Thursday, Friday, with all 8 games. We'll look at them. Some bombs, I mean. Recap. I gave out a couple of NITs. We went 1-1 with the NIT on Monday. I gave up for last night. I'll recap that real quick. That was, I'll talk about it right now, actually. We won with North Texas outright, and we lost with Oregon. They were up 8 on them towards the end. We thought Wisconsin would quit. You would hope they would quit. That's what they do. Big 10 on the road. But then the problem with this NIT, you never know when these teams actually give a shit. And Wisconsin, for some reason, cared. They could have ended this miserable season, but they cared, and they came back and won. So we went 1-1 in the NIT. So these are bombs. I apologize for that. I should have a nice money line dog parlay. That would have been beautiful. But we hit North Texas. That was a good one. Anyway, so welcome to the new Bottom Line Bombs with its own feed on the new YouTube page. Nothing like start. Today is the beginning of the new YouTube Bottom Line Bomb page. That's going to be a great one. Make sure you subscribe to that. Bottom Line Bombs, YouTube, SGPN, whatever. I'll put the handle. I think it's at Bottom Line Bombs is the handle. I'll be doing some promotion of that. Nothing like a YouTube page from scratch. It's right now, it has 2 subscribers. When I came here, I being one of them. So that's fun. It's a nice humbling number. We're building it from the ground up. Wait, you can be part of a movement here. You're going to get man in the box segments there, a lot of exclusive man in the box content there, and everything BLB. Start a little bit late here. We're going to try to do this every Monday and Wednesday live on the YouTube page. 11:30 seems like a good time Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. The link is in the chat. The new YouTube link is in the chat, by the way. Sports Gun Podcast Network. Seems a good time because then I have the XFL show right afterwards at 1. We ran a little late because of the rain, and I'm going to go ahead and blame the rain. It's been raining in LA, and it's in devastation out here. People in LA cannot handle the rain, and there's a reason why. One, because we're soft, horrible people. But it's been raining a lot here, which is very unusual, and it seems like never ending. And the reason why it's so devastating to LA people when it rains is because good weather is all we have here. The only thing we have going for ourselves. It's a terrible place to live. Everything you hear about LA being bad is correct. Traffic, the people, the fucking how expensive it is. Everything is awful. Food's not even good. For a big city, the food here is terrible. It's always like, I mean, there's good food spots, obviously, but you really got to find it. You can't just stumble upon it. Just hit a button there. But that's not the point. But the one thing we do have going for us is weather. We have great weather all the time. So when it's not like that, we're like, what are we even doing here? Why is my soul being sucked out if I can't even golf 9 holes this morning? This is crazy. So the rain did slow us down a bit. But we're here. We're doing a live show. We're doing great. So YouTube link is in the comments. I should tweet it out too. I think I tweeted it out. A lot of the first 10 minutes of all my shows are like, are people hearing this? I'll, whoops. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and retweet. It's better off retweeting from the network than from mine. All right, let's get the clock running. Anyway, like I said, thank you. And make sure to subscribe. I should be doing all this at the end. I should give you content first, then the plugs at the end. That's usually how that works. Although, I've been told differently. I've been also told plug up top, then you get into the show because this is when people are paying attention as well. But I feel, why would I want to, subscribe to this if you just tell me to subscribe? Is that what your content is? It's tough. We'll have to settle that to the debate. We'll have to do a study on that on podcasts and subscribing. Sounds interesting. Like I said, the NITs, we went 1-1. New YouTube pages. World Baseball Classic. I'll get into that a little bit before we get into all the Sweet 16 plays. 8 games Thursday and Friday. Everyone loved the World Baseball Classic. It was great. Japan won last night. They beat America. They beat USA. In America. It was weird how USA was the road team, but it was in Miami. But we're also like, we do that like, just to humor other countries. Sure, we'll let you have the final at bat. You'll be the home team, but yet you're coming here. We're not doing the championship anywhere else. We know it's called the World Baseball Classic, but we're funding it. It's like the one, family member is like, hey, we're gonna think of having a family reunion, but can you pay for it? Like the one. One family members have to fund everything. Yeah, sure, it's a family reunion, but I'm catering this thing, right? Yeah, okay, great, sounds fun. So yeah, come on over, Japan. You'll get last at bats, and they did. Shohei versus Trout. That was the big. That's how it ended. Full count, 2 outs. Shohei on the mound, throwing 102, and strikes out Trout. Not in 3 pitches, a full count, but he swung and missed 3 times, which he's only done like 6 times or something, or 6% of his at strike. I don't know. Some crazy stat about Mike Trout being good. They really rubbed it in. Like, I think A-Rod said, finally, they're going to play. The Angels these players are going to have a championship, or they're going to play in a game that means something. They loved rubbing it in. How Trout. That's why Shohei and Trout were the best in the class because they were the king of meaningless baseball games. But it wasn't meaningless. It was basically an exhibition to show how lame American baseball fans are. Every other country, there's fireworks going on, there's salsa dancing, it's a goddamn festival. I mean, bloop singles, and they got pinata, they're fucking dancing, there's women stripping, and like, Jesus. How much fun are these people having in life? Like, I don't even feel about, I mean, about baseball. I'm like, they're just having fun in life. I haven't had that much fun combined ever. It's called all the happiest moments of my life combined. It was nothing compared to a ground rule double in a Venezuela-Colombia game. It is an absolute fucking party riot there. They love talking about the ratings of this thing, too. Yeah, 70 million or 60 million in Japan, about 100,000 here in America. 60 million Japanese viewers. Jesus. But they don't have any choice either at the same time over there. They're forced to watch things. They're on top of each other. There's no land in Japan. They just have towers going straight to the sky. Who knows how they do their rating system too? I don't trust any rating system. But I believe they're into it. I love it. Good for them. But they just have poles that go straight up to the sky. They've built that's why Japanese people love golf over here. They can't believe how much land we waste with golf courses. Like, what? What is this? It's something we come out and play, kill some time on the weekends. We like to walk, play 18, do a card here. Oh, it's great. Yeah, we would house 9 million people in your back nine here. We would have a capital on top of a capital. What are you doing with this land? There's nowhere to play out there in Japan. That's why they have to watch this game. That's why if you're an athlete, you get taken away. You get taken to some camp. They produce a factory. In school, I used to have a joke about the Jap pole. No recess. They just have a pole that goes straight to the sky. They call it the Jap pole. And everyone clings to it, for 15 minutes for recess. And they learn English because there's a pop quiz coming. Very offensive calling it the Jap pole, especially if you're Polish. Anyway, I am CJ Sullivan. This is the Bottom Line Bombs. All right, let me do a quick ad read. We'll come back. I want to recap some more of the World Baseball Classic because it was great. It was amazing. Congratulations, Japan. That was awesome. I actually gave them out on the other Bottom Line Bombs. They were like a plus 350, I think, to win it all. They had an easy route. But there's some more fun stuff like that. And we'll get into the Sweet 16s. So a lot of stuff to come. This is going to be exciting. Here we are. Hard to show. Too hard, too soft, too now. All right, WinBet. I have to tell you about WinBet, the official online sports book of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's now active in Massachusetts and tons of other states. So be on the lookout for WinBet. Each hour Thursday from 5 to 6 Eastern Time. Win our marquee games of the week of better odds than WinBet, giving you large payer opportunities. And March Madness is here, obviously, so many ways to bet on the big dance. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100. Limited state availability. And, of course, for our D-Gens only, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to winbet.com or download the WinBet app. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where play through WinBet is available. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, and I'm going to give you a little hint, you do know someone. That someone is you. You're subscribed to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You have a gambling problem. But it's fine. Call 1-800-522-4700. No, you need to fix all problems, right? So we have problems. I got 99 problems, and a teaser ain't one. The SGP guys are also going to be hosting a Final Four watch party at the historic Ice House in Pasadena, California, this Saturday, April 1st, 7:30. Get all the details at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/icehouse. It's a good comedy club, Pasadena. It'll be fun event. SGP Masters, looking to hang out with Sean and Ryan at the Stadium Swim and watch the biggest golf tournament in the world? Of course you are. You can win a 3-night stay at Circa. Hang out with the guys. Contest completely free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/golf party. And if you don't win the contest, you still get a discount on the room using the promo code SGP15. That's good. You should get involved in that. Hang out with Sean and Ryan at Circa Stadium. You might see Derek Stevens. He's good friends with them. He just gave Sean Green a line of credit, for crying out loud, so he can chase some money and get more bankrupt. What's better than that? Woo! Anyway, all right. Welcome back to the Bottom Line Bombs. A lot of events going on here. What was I talking about? The World Baseball Classic. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that real quick before I dive into the Sweet 16. Because there's fun complaints about the World Baseball Classic, which I love when people just love complaining about it. And I get there were injuries, bad injuries. Owen Diaz for the Mets, Altuve for the Astros, and of course you don't like to see injuries. So people are saying, don't play during meaningless games. And that's what hurt the MLB owners. Don't want their players. I mean, I get it. You don't want your players being hurt. So there's two arguments to it. There's one argument before it is like, listen, you can get hurt, crossing the street, walking your dog, and so why not play baseball? Normally, that would be a dumb argument. I hate when people make that argument for other sports. But for baseball, it's actually correct. Because baseball players, usually, like I say, it's a dumb argument because you're like, oh, well, because Belichick said that, like during a meaningless football game. I remember one year Wes Welker got hurt on week 17 when it was meaningless for them and they were going to the playoffs. And he's like, well, you can get hurt, crossing the street, just doing whatever. There's a game we're going to play. Yeah, technically that's true, Belichick. But he's much more likely to get hurt playing football than crossing the street. An NFL game, you're most likely to get hurt, a football injury, playing football than you are walking your dog. You say, it's as... I mean, you can always say, well, go into war. You won't just send them to war then if you're at it. You can get hurt. Get hurt taking a shower. Might as well than playing battle. Yeah, okay. But you're probably more likely to get hurt in a war, I think, than taking a shower. So that's a dumb argument. But except with baseball, it's actually correct. Because if you ever see how baseball players get injured, that's how they get injured. Like picking up their kid and riding a dirt bike and playing Nintendo Switch and shit like that. They always have the worst injuries because they're so specialized. That's why baseball is the most relatable sport to the common man, athlete-wise. No, we're not as athletic as them, obviously. But we're kind of relatable, where they're not tall. They're not huge like Jack. They're just normal, semi-normal looking guys in quotes because they're still not normal. They're still better athletes than us. Their coordination highly skilled. But they get injured, like slipping in the shower and fucking guy burned my hand on a frying pan. Like, what? You hear these baseball injuries? Like, what is going on? What the hell are you guys doing? Pitchers, especially. Pitchers are so funny how specialized they are. They don't do anything but pitch. That's why I used to love John Lester. He was famous for that. He couldn't throw over to first. He wouldn't field a bunt. He wouldn't do a damn thing but throw the ball 60 feet, 6 inches. And I'll get paid $150 million to do it. You say they're like those F1 drivers where they have to literally just be put in through the window. Like a team has to shove this driver through the window, put the wheel in front of him. All right, go. Then pick him out. We don't even want you walking to the car. So that's how these baseball players get hurt. So, and that's the case, might as well do the world. They're probably less likely to get hurt playing baseball players they are than walking around in life, in society, because they're so specialized in what this weird skill is of playing baseball. It's just an odd game that's, not constantly moving, not time. Well, now it's timed, but they might change that too. Anyway. Another fun thing with the World Baseball Classic was just the teams in the countries. First of all, anytime you get the world involved, countries against countries, it's fun. Like World Cup is fun, obviously. Once every 4 years. That's what they're trying to get it to be like the World Cup. And it's not, they're trying to globalize the sport, which is great. You get the root and be xenophobic and not sound xenophobic, especially if you have money on the game. Like a World Cup. Like, come on, you dumb Polacks. Like, what? No, I'm talking about the Polacks. They didn't pass the ball there. Or Mexico. Mexico was a fun team this year. Yeah, they had a great game versus Japan before they got to the championship. There was like a back and forth. Probably the game of the tournament, really. The semifinal game, Mexico and Japan. But you can yell if you have, I bet on Mexico. Come on, Mexico, build that wall. What? No, the wall. Yeah, the penalty shot, the wall. You gotta protect the wall. The Randy is Rosarama. Protect that. Build the wall, Rosarama. I don't think you're talking about baseball at all. Well, no. Yeah, the eligibility is fun, because that's what always happens with these things. Like people find out where their great grandmother was born or something, and they want to be all of a sudden citizens of that country so they can make their team, which I'm fine with. People are complaining, "Why aren't you American? You make your money in America." Whatever, because we want to fill the rosters. That's why we don't want America just to dominate these teams. Be fun. Randy wrote, if you didn't see him, he's the hot shot outfielder for Tampa Bay. He's awesome. He robbed the home run of the wall, speaking of which, in that Japan game, and had a hilarious stare down where they're already making memes of him. He was born in Cuba, but he's playing for Team Mexico. People are upset about that. Why is he playing for Cuba? I don't know. Maybe because he left there on a fucking raft when he was 16 years old. He doesn't want to represent that country, maybe. Or 19, whatever he left. He left on a raft at 19, I'm sorry. But, and he went to Mexico. He went from Cuba to Mexico on a raft. Maybe he likes the team that welcomed him more than the country, welcomed him that murdered his family, and he had to leave on the fucking chopped shores and avoid sharks to get the hell out of there. So I'd have no problem with Randy playing for Mexico. He literally just asked to become a citizen. They're like, all right, sure, we'll sign you up. He played for a couple independent leagues there before he went to Tampa Bay, or I think he went to the Cardinals and the Tampa Bay. But whatever, before he went to American for baseball. But he wrote a letter to the president. Like, yeah, come on. I came in a raft. I played single A there. I got a daughter there, I think. She's somewhere in Mexico. I'm sure I got a couple daughters around out there. And so he became a citizen. So there's fun ones like that. Other fun ones was, who was that guy? There's a pitcher for Israel. That's why I like the sim like that. Like, Israel's got a baseball team? Sure. This guy's this 44-year-old Shlomo Lipitz. And his day job was he worked for City Winery as like a venue coordinator. And he was out there as a relief pitcher. Hey, did you know your grandmother is Jewish? No? What's that mean? That means you can fucking pitch in the World Baseball Classic. Congrats, buddy. You're on Team Israel. All right. Sounds good. So anyway, more of that. Who cares? People are complaining about what do you care that this guy's pitching for Israel? It's fun striking people out. Now, people were actually upset about him first of all, not representing Cuba or America. Well, how about America then? First of all, I think America has a law that for Cuban refugees only, that you need a little waiting period of another country. Then we'll take you in. I don't think Cuba's even allowed to see him play baseball. You can't be on TV and say, hey, was that guy over here when he left on a shanty raft? Anyway, that's what happened. J Mark in the chat. The man in the box. That is correct. Welcome, J Mark, to the chat room. J Mark, of course, is our XFL stack guy. I do an XFL show with him and the great Colby D after this, so stay tuned to that at 1:00 West Coast time, 3:00 Iowa time. He's calling from Iowa, the whiskey lunch man himself. He's probably getting himself whiskeyed up. Get yourself whiskeyed up. So that's baseball classic talk. Let me do some one more ad read, and then we'll get right into my Sweet 16 bombs. That sounds exciting, right? We're about coming up on the other end of the break, but first, let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's heating up for March Madness. College Pick'em is a great way to get in on the action, especially if your bracket is busted after day one. Plus, Underdog Fantasy has your favorite college basketball player props. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus and $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. That it? And of course, I need to thank you for watching live on YouTube. Make sure to smoosh that subscribe button and like this video on YouTube. I need you to subscribe and like. There's nothing more thirsty and pathetic than asking people to subscribe to YouTube, but you have to do it. It's the way this fucking world works. All these damn these Gen Z influencers made us do it because no one knows how to figure out these numbers. And apparently this means power. All right. That was World Baseball Classic Talk. And we are back now. Let's get Man in the Box. Well, not Man in the Box. Man in the Box is the end of the segment. I will have a Man in the Box segment at the end of the show. But now let's get into the Sweet 16 bombs. We have 4 Thursday, 4 Friday. I'll start with the 2 in Madison Square Garden Thursday. The first game, which is New York. It should always be in Madison Square Garden. Although they love talking about Madison Square Garden, it's the most famous arena. It's just only famous because New York's loud about it. Good Lord, it's a kind of a dump if you've ever been there. I mean, it's cool. It's cool, but it's just cool because New York is so obnoxious about everything New York. It's the most famous arena. Yeah, because you won't shut up, New York. Rick Pitino, who just got hired, hilarious, by the way, at St. John, says he wants every game played at the Garden. Got to play every game at the Garden for the brand of basketball I'm going to be bringing. We want Pitino is hilarious. His press conference, by the way, talking about how he was he's not exonerated, and how they put my career on pause for 5 years. First of all, it was 2.5 years, and I like you openly calling Iona like fucking purgatory. The school you use. You were over like in Greece or something for 2 years. Also, besides the scandals you've done, Pitino, as far as, at Louisville with the assistant coaches being sent over a pimp house and shit, don't forget what you did himself. Rick Pitino, I mean, God bless him. I love Pitino. But he's old school. He had a mistress. He had sex with her on the floor of an Italian restaurant. His Italian restaurant, sure, it was his go-to spot. And then I think she got pregnant. And so he made his assistant coach marry her to shut her up. That's old school. That's loyalty. That's coaching loyalty. Anyway, he's back. St. John's bringing the Bees back at Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world. First game, Michigan State, Kansas State. Michigan State's -2. Over under is 137.5. I love this game. I want to watch this game for sure. Sparty in the Sweet 16. Everyone's liking Sparty. I don't like them. -2 is I get it. The Big Ten is just hilarious. They were terrible this year again in the tournament. Absolutely awful. Every single one of them stunk, except for Sparty. Every year this happens. It seems like the Big Ten's gonna be good this year. We got 8 teams. We got 9 teams. But Izzo's the only one who gets it. The tournament's the only thing that matters. They were terrible during the season, but who cares? I love Izzo. He's unleashing players they've never even heard of that they played all year. This guy Cooper, they got these Slovenians and shit. They're just shipping them over. Izzo, where are you getting these guys? Where were they all year? We kept them in the docks. We just sent them to Greensboro. Now we sent them to New York. And they just play fucking prison ball. They can't do anything. It's amazing. If you analyze and go into the statistics of Michigan State, they can't do anything. They can't dribble, they can't shoot, they can't pass, they just beat people. They just forcing prison rules. We're just gonna beat you somehow. We don't know how, we're just gonna do it. But I don't know if it's gonna work for Kansas State. I like Kansas State's a hot team. First of all, they're in a great conference, Kansas State. They have been up and down. They're a mid-range Kansas State team. I like their coach, Jerome Tomey, or whatever his name is. He wasn't a coach until he was 55 years old, which I like that. They showed up. There's a video of them in the locker room. They're vibing out, as they say. They got rap music, and he's rapping to it. They're all rapping. This is like a day beforehand. This is the opposite of a Tom Izzo locker room. But the star of this game will definitely be Marquise Knoll. He's the point guard for Kansas State. He's tiny. He's 5'6". He's from Harlem. Well, he's 5'6", but he's short. 5'11", maybe. But he's short out there. He's from Harlem. His Twitter handle is Mr. New York. And He's great. He was doing just ridiculous behind him. He was doing Harlem plays out there. He was bringing Rucker Park. Then when they beat Kentucky, and they were fun. And coach, and that's what you kind of need to do to Michigan State. They have no actually. They're the opposite. Where Michigan State's together or whatever they're doing coaching. Izzo's famous for saying, "You win the first, I'll win you the second." You know, we're gonna out coach scheme them and shit. Jerome Tomey's just like, we got more dudes than they got. Fuck it. Throw the ball up. I love Marquise Knoll too, and his Twitter and Mr. New York. It's all about religion. He talks about, Bible things and shit like that. And then he'll then he'll retweet someone, caption this, and he puts something like, y'all can't fuck with me. Oh, all right. There goes the Bible. But you can't fuck with me. I love Marquise Knoll. I'm liking K-State. I think people are just taking Michigan State just because of history with Tom Izzo. And I get it. I mean, it looks very familiar. We've seen this movie before. Izzo's just going to make it happen. They could run it. It is wide open. They could run it, but I don't think they are. They beat a Marquette team that I don't even know how they did it, but they did it. They beat Marquette team who was they were a weird 2 seed. They were a 2 seed that no one ever believed in, even when they were winning. They kept winning. They won the Big East, whatever. We just didn't believe in them. And then Sparty did their thing. It's a different thing when you go for one weekend to now you take a week off and then the next weekend. This will be a rock fight. I kind of like the under in this 137.5, but we're going to give out the first bomb. We're going to give out the new vibes. Jerome Tomey, 55, and Mr. New York himself in Harlem. I run New York. Remember that awful song by 50 Cent? So in the Garden, Kansas State +2. I like that one. I should write these down. K-State +2. This is the most famous Garden. God damn it. I do like the NIT Final Four in MSG. I like that. Give the kids a trip to New York, because then I feel like you're giving the family a trip to New York. When Utah Valley comes over to, we get to see Times Square and all that shit. That's fun. But for this, and they, God damn it, they talk about. So it's the next game is Florida Atlantic and Tennessee. Tennessee's -5.5. Line is 130.5. That's a low total for a reason. But the reason why people have been favoring Tennessee, well, Tennessee, of course, just had a great victory versus Duke, where they do have a great defense. They lock down defense. But this is a team everyone's trying to fade before we can't believe they beat Duke. So now they're automatically on their back. So I don't understand why we're doing that. I don't think these problems are going to go away for Tennessee. But Tennessee played at the Garden earlier in the year. So I read that. They're like, oh, well, they're not going to be overwhelmed by the lights of New York City. Jesus Christ, with the hype of New York City. The New York lights shine brighter. And they're going to be just fine. They are not any brighter than the lights in Kansas City or wherever the other games are being played at. The lights in Vegas. The lights are the same. Yeah. If you live there and you're the Yankees or the Knicks, that's different because you have the media nonstop. But if you're just going there, it'd be cool. Yeah, cool. You take the subway in and blah, 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 and then you get the hell out of there. So Florida Atlantic getting 5.5 versus Tennessee. I have to take Florida Atlantic out of just principle. Florida Atlantic, a 31-3 team. They had a tough opening matchup versus Memphis. They probably shouldn't have won that. It was kind of a criminal how Memphis didn't get that timeout credited to them, but whatever, it happened. They were still good enough to win the game because they were there at the end. Either way, it was a coin flip either way. And then they got Fairleigh Dickinson, which they needed a good performance to get that. People are pissed about that dude trying to do a windmill dunk at the end of the game versus Fairleigh Dickinson. It was funny because Fairleigh Dickinson let him do it. Like, whatever, run out the clock. Oh, you're not going to run? You're going to do this? Like, no, this is what we do. And then the coach was mad. Fuck you, Fairleigh Dickinson. You can't be upset about that. You're Fairleigh Dickinson, okay? We liked you for a bit, but now it's time for you to go. Get the hell out of our tournament. You were fun beating Purdue and fun for a little bit. We thought you had a chance, but now you lost. You can't complain about windmill dunks at the end because you don't matter. You're Fairleigh Dickinson. You're lucky we allowed you this. So Florida Atlantic's a bizarre team. That whole region down there, Florida International, Florida Gulf Coast, Florida Atlantic. There's just weird schools down there. I don't know what goes on down there, where they get these people from. But they fly them in from around the world. They're all international. And, like, I don't know what the porting laws are and the immigration. I mean, they just ship these people in. They got the 7-footer like Vladislav Golden. What? How's he getting down there? Florida Atlantic. What is? They're not getting in. They're not scouring the neighborhoods, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't know what these programs are. They feel like they're simulated. Like they're not. There's no way there's actual school down there. I mean, this has to be just some kind of basketball program. It's like those. Remember that high school football team that wasn't a school at all and fooled ESPN? But they're like a power rank team, and then they lost like 75-3 or something. Like, oh boy, we might have been duped here. It's like getting a Baba Booey call of of schools. But that's what's going on at Florida Atlantic. I don't think Florida Atlantic's an actual school, but they're a team. You know, it's just like it's kind of like those like ghost kitchen places. Like, oh, these are amazing restaurant, amazing food, but it's not a real restaurant. It doesn't exist. It's in a warehouse somewhere where they have the chefs, whatever, making it there, and it's all delivery, no brick and mortar. That's Florida Atlantic, but for basketball players. And they just ship them in from all over the world. They create this team, and they're 31-3. So, with that being said, we're going to take Florida Atlantic in the Garden. The lights will not be too bright. Plus 5.5 versus Tennessee is a steal. I'm going to take them on the money line. I think it's 180 or something like that. That's our second bomb. Florida Atlantic plus 5.5. Bomb it. Those are two great ones. I love both of those. Two money lines you can do too. K-State and Florida Atlantic for the New York games. I like fading Michigan State and Tennessee there. All right, let's move on to the other two Thursday games here in the bottom line bombs. Did we do both our breaks, right? Yeah, we're over with the breaks. I do need to get through these games and then get to the man in the box. And then we have the XFL show coming up. Once again, thank you for joining me on this journey. As I venture into basketball, I'm going to be giving out bombs for all kinds of whatever the daily events are. I'll try to look ahead so you guys can get them in on time. And whatever the news stories are, like the World Baseball Classic. Give a take that only CJ can give you. Only the man in the box can bring. I love when shows promote themselves. Only the twisted mind of Colin Cowherd are going to come up with. Get the fuck out of here. All right, let's get into Arkansas, UConn. These two games are going to be in Vegas. They have 2 games in the Garden and 2 games in Vegas. That's fun. It's amazing how quickly they've turned with games in Las Vegas. I mean, it used to be such a pariah. You can't have games in Vegas. You can't have the lines in Vegas. Now they're hosting fucking college basketball tournaments there. Yeah, well, there's money to be made. Good morals, NCAA. Anyway, Arkansas, UConn. UConn's 3.5, 139.5. These are two coaches that can be annoying and like. Arkansas, Eric Musselman. They just upset Kansas a little bit. Sure, I'm not going to say they celebrated a bit, but I mean, he's got his shirt off. He just wanted to flex his body, old dad bod, but he doesn't have dad bod. He's ripped. Up on the scorers table, the shirt off. What are you doing for the round of 32? I guess you beat Kansas. UConn, they got Danny Hurley. He's a jerk. All the Hurleys are jerks. I know that from Jersey, from St. Peter's or whatever. Patrick. They're from that powerhouse in North Jersey. Bob Hurley Sr. and Bob Hurley Jr. Danny Hurley and the Seton Hall pipeline. And Danny Hurley went to Seton Hall. Bobby Hurley went to Duke. And they're all Hurley assholes. Coach son assholes. They're all just fucking assholes. Our school, used to play them in a state title. South Jersey champs versus North Jersey champs. And they beat us. pretty bad. Danny Hurley was there, and we were giving him "You're No Bobby" chants, and it didn't affect him at all. He still scored a lot and passed a lot, and he gave the ball to Jerry Walker and Roderick Rhodes, who was on the cover of New York Times saying he's going to be the next Michael Jordan. He was not, but he was very good. Went to the Rockets, drafted 7th overall. Point is, Hurley. Usually, I like to fade Hurley, but he's going against Musselman with the shirt off. UConn is the real man. Is the modern Michigan State. Not because of Izzo or Hurley because he's Izzo, but they play. They're talented, like the 2000 Michigan State teams, but they also play that prison ball. They punish you. They hurt you. They shoot from threes. They shoot down low, and they're pretty locked in. They beat Iona and Patino. Let's sleaze back, and then they beat St. Mary's. St. Mary's they looked terrified. They looked absolutely terrified of UConn there in the second half. I never got St. Mary's. First of all, just St. Mary's, be rivals to Gonzaga. That's it. And your Pepperdines, that's it. But don't do a national stand thing. Stop getting in our brackets. Just you can mess with Gonzaga. That's about it. But in Vegas, Arkansas is hilarious because they were a top 10 team preseason. They got a lot of NBA talent. And then they were bad because they realized, well, maybe we should play the players that actually want to win and want to work and care about the college basketball level. Because these guys, the NBA players, they don't care. They want to wait for the NBA as well as they should. They shouldn't get hurt for nothing. But some of them came in. They hit free throws last game, which they never do. Arkansas has been up and down, and because they weren't even that hot. I mean, they battled back. Kansas kind of blew that game. Kansas was suspect. Anyway, what I'm getting at is Danny Hurley's a jerk. And he'll be in Las Vegas, and he'll lock it. I see Danny Hurley going to bed on time in Vegas, and Musselman with his shirt off, getting caught at the Palazzo with some of those high class hooers. That's what I was told when we went to the Palazzo last week. Like, there's a lot known for the high class escorts. They won't even talk to you. They won't talk to me. My kind of woman. Anyway, that's an old bit. So yeah, I think Musselman and Arkansas and these NBA players are not going to behave themselves in Las Vegas. They do not care about winning this game. I mean, they'll play, obviously. It'll be fun show, but they're going to enjoy Vegas. Danny Hurley will not, and he'll make sure his team is right. So UConn minus 3.5. We're going to go with our first favorite of the day on Thursday, Sweet 16. So we're going to bomb UConn minus 3.5. I like it. What are we looking at time-wise here? I got to hurry up. All right, let me speed through a couple of these. Then we got, probably the game of the day. Thursday's just got good games. Friday's games aren't as good. Thursday's game, the last game in Vegas, Gonzaga, UCLA. UCLA is -2, totals 146. Great game. Everyone wants to see this game. They played in classics. They played in the one Final Four where Suggs hit the buzzer beater to win, the Adam Morrison crying game. These two make fun tournament games, and they're two great teams. UCLA is great. They've had a lot of injuries though, which eventually should catch up to them. But who knows? They're also on a mission. They might be one of these teams that just doesn't give a fuck who gets hurt. They're here to win a title, and they got veterans, Tiga and Jazamanga. They got fun names too. Gonzaga had a bad season in their standards. They're still a pretty good season, but now they're really peaking again. Maybe they've paced themselves. They learned to pace themselves. Like, listen, every year they go like 27-2, then they lose in the tournament. People are like, see, you can't see. They're in a Sweet 16 every year. They're in the finals. They're in championships. They do all kinds of shit. They got a veteran in Drew Timme. That's the Gonzaga show. The Drew Timme show. How long has Drew Timme been at Gonzaga? And I don't even know if he's been there for 7 years or a variation of him has been there for the last 20 years. He's like Drew Timme He's got the mustache and the headband, the white guy. Gonzaga is just a crazy program to begin with, where they just get all these white guys up there who aren't recruited anywhere else because they're white, and they run a program that way, and it works because there's it's something in the market there. The new sabermetrics of basketball is like finding overlooked whites. And Mark Few's doing something up there in Spokane. But so Drew Timme, the headband, I mean, he's like the hotel owner of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. Like there's been a version of him every 15, 20 years. And they've all murdered their family. I don't know where that comparison was going. But the point is, you see Drew Timme, he's doing interviews. I thought he was a professor. Is he a TA at Gonzaga? What's going on? He looks like he's 38 years old. And he's living in the 70s. So he's fun to root for. He will be in Vegas versus UCLA. This is a tough game to handicap. This is not one of my favorite bombs for sure. I'll give it out just because it's a great game. I'm going to go with Gonzaga +2 just because of Drew Timme. I mean, obviously, would not be surprised if UCLA wins this game. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be should be the funnest one to watch. But I think Gonzaga's figured out we got to win in tournament time and peak towards the end and push on them towards the end. UCLA also the mission. It just really the injuries got to catch up to them eventually. This is not the. This is going to be obviously the toughest opponent. This is tough for the whole region. There is tough, but we're going to go with Gonzaga. Drew Timme in his 1970s. I mean, he looks like he doesn't smoke now, but he was definitely around when smoking was okay. You know what I mean? Like in bars and shit. Like he remembers those laws when you could still smoke in restaurants. That's how old he looks. So I'll go with them for that. Drew Timme, Gonzaga +2. All right, that's 4 bombs for Thursday. Just to recap that's Kansas State +2, Florida Atlantic +5.5, UConn -3.5, and Gonzaga +2. Those are my Thursday bombs for the Sweet 16. Now we're going to do the Friday games, and we'll do them as fast as we can. Not as fast as we can. We won't force it, and then maybe a quick man in the box, and we'll get out of here. Hopefully in under an hour. I'm supposed to do 45-minute shows because I'm doing a daily Monday and Wednesday, if you don't know. Subscribe, please, to the new Bottom Line Bombs. It'll have its own feed finally on Sports Gun Podcast Network and to YouTube. Make sure you follow and subscribe to YouTube and like it and all that shit, because that's what we need to do to survive in this dumb world. Anyway, let's go to Friday games. These are the 2 at the KFC Yummy Center in Louisville. These games aren't so good. First game is San Diego State, Alabama. Alabama's 7-point favorite. 137 is a total. Alabama, the number 1 team in the country, who is definitely going to the finals of this tournament. No doubt about it. I saw it immediately as soon as it happened. Oh, here's the storyline. This team is the villain. They're murderers. They've got away with a murder. They cleaned up whatever. Brandon Miller playing the whole thing. The coach, wrong play. How about Nick Saban? Yes, this is what I also hate about the fucking thing, because you have Alabama fans. They're leaning in to them being the enemy. Like it's us versus the world. Now it's you versus state of Alabama. Actually, you versus and also the victim that you killed, Janae Harris. It's you versus her family as well. But yeah, their fans like Alabama killing it and all the SEC and like these people are so fucking insincere. If this kid Brandon Miller went to Tennessee, Alabama fans would not be happy and saying, you guys are killing it and joking around about this murder. It's just, that's how sick they are down in Alabama. So sick that Nick Saban did a press conference yesterday to the legendary football coach for Alabama, taking shots at Oates, the basketball coach, because the basketball coach is an idiot for saying wrong place, wrong time. I've been over that before. I don't have to get into it more. It was not the wrong place, wrong time. It was actually the right place and right time to do that crime. Alabama, the only state where that's legal. The victim was in the wrong place, wrong time. But anyway, Nick Saban goes off in his press conference how he's suspending some player, and like, we suspended him. There's no such thing as wrong place, wrong time. You gotta be, responsible for who you hang out with. Basically doing this veiled fucking thing, attacking the Alabama basketball team. Why? Because he's upset the Alabama basketball team is getting accolades over them. He wants Alabama football team to rule, which they do. Alabama football rules down there. But God forbid Alabama basketball gets some support, and he hates that. You think Nick Saban actually believes that shit about wrong place, wrong time? He would say the same stuff for any of his. Oh, I'm getting angry about this. This is getting man in the boxers. But it's the insincerity is what I'm getting upset about. And I like how he just throws out one of his players as an example, because he could probably suspend 50 of his players a week. He has 200 on his roster, and then he cuts them and throws them out to the streets when he doesn't want to pull their scholarship because they didn't make the team because he runs a professional organization. Yep, yeah, we run a tight ship here. Yeah, I'm sure, Nick Saban. What a clean program you're running down there. That's what upset me about that. And he's taking shots. He's taking shots at his own guy because he's mad about their getting attention for winning. Fucking Nick Saban. Unbelievable. That being said, the Alabama basketball team are they're the easiest, the villain of this tournament. Terrible to root for. So I can't do it. I'll take the 7. I think Alabama's going to win. Hopefully San Diego State can muck this game up. I like this under 137, actually. San Diego State plays defense. They have no offense. They're good. They're the only team in that Mountain West Conference that's done anything. So we'll take San Diego State +7 because we have morals. That's what I like to say. Actually, I might even go to the whiteboard for this. If we're going on YouTube, San Diego State +7, no murderers. There it is. Let me lock in. There you go. No murderer. San Diego State +7 because we have morals. Yes, we might drink all day, do drugs. I don't drink anymore, but I will snort some Adderall and I'll yell at these teenagers when I have money on to hit a free throw, but I will not bet on Alabama because I have morals. I'm the man in the box. And you got to stand for something or you'll kneel for anything, like the national anthem. I don't know what that means. All right. Then you erase that. You get that out of here. All right, let's do all Friday plex. So there it is. I should got to detonate that too. Aztecs +7. Next game, Princeton Creighton. That's a terrible game. -10. Princeton's was the other underdog. Fairleigh Dickinson I talked about. Princeton, they beat Arizona, my champion. Good for them. They've been playing good. They weren't even the best in the. That was weird about Fairleigh Dickinson. They were not even their third best in their awful conference. Princeton wasn't even better. Got blown up by Yale. Then they had like a home game for the conference championship. Now they're doing good. I think it ends with Creighton. You can't get a line in Jersey, but you know what's funny about that is we were saying there's conference tournament games in Vegas. These are in Louisville, I think. And they could do spreads. When they started out, like, fine, we'll let you have point spreads there, but you couldn't bet. They wouldn't put lines on for Vegas teams like UNLV and shit like that. But you can bet on everything else, which made no sense. They're like, well, wait a minute, is this on the up and up or not? Well, then why isn't it on the up and up for Vegas? Well, they're Vegas teams. You know how this thing will work. So that still applies. They didn't eventually change it. They do have lines, but that still applies now in Jersey. So there was no lines for Fairleigh Dickinson or Princeton for these games. So if you're in Jersey sportsbooks, they act like they just don't exist. And I like the underlying reasoning behind it is, well, it's New Jersey. They're corrupt. That's where the Italians are. That's where greaseball fat Italians fix games. That's where they live. We can't do point spreads there. We've all seen Sopranos. So so is this on the up and up? Yeah, it's on the up and up, but it's also on the do, you know? So no line if you live in Jersey. Those sports books are terrible anyway. The Meadowlands ones is brutal. They're like fucking glorified OTBs. They go to kiosk and they yell about the Yankees and they all bet New York. So Creighton -10. I'm gonna blow through this real quick. If you don't live in Jersey, hammer Creighton -10. I like fading the Cinderella teams on the second week because they're like, what? We have to keep playing games? I thought that was it. That was fun. We beat Arizona. Then we beat Mizzou. They killed Mizzou, actually. That was kind of weird. But then they're like, oh, now we got to do Creighton. And Creighton's either going to lose this game or win by 30. And I think they're going to win by 30 because that's what they do. They've been up and down all year. So let's just blow through this because this is getting, let's see, we have 51 minutes. Another thing Creighton does well, also, which I think will help them versus Princeton, they guard without fouling, which is key. I think that's why I kind of like Creighton as a future bet. They're like 11-1 to win the national championship right now, which isn't bad because they have a nice little path, and they can beat anybody. But guarding without fouling in college is huge. Half of the fucking point spreads being covered and games being won or lost are just these kids fouling each other because they're 19 and 18. They're fucking full of testosterone and hormones and shit, and they can't stop themselves. That's why they're fouling with 0.7. Like, they freak out there. Just calm down. Don't stop every pump fake. They're distracted by every girl in the fucking stands and cheerleaders and cell phones, and they're checking Instagram and they're fouling. Slow down. Calm down. Anyway, Creighton does that. And that's how if you make Princeton just run their offense, run the Princeton offense, which isn't even the Princeton offense anyway. I mean, yeah, technically it's a Princeton offense, but it's not the Princeton offense of what it was before. But God, announcers love saying, oh, they run the Princeton offense. They put you in a blender. They backdoor you with the Princeton offense. It's too smart. Well, now they're going to run against a smart team and an athletic team. So we'll take the athletes. Creighton -10. Bomb it. I'll be right down. I'll use the whiteboard for another one. All right, 2 more games in Kansas City. T-Mobile Arena. We got Miami and Houston. Houston, we'll go for this real quick. -7. Kelvin Sampson, another corrupt coach. He's the only anecdote we're going to have for Alabama. We got to pick our poison who we want to win this championship eventually. It's going to be Alabama, the murderers, or Kelvin Sampson, just an absolutely corrupt, filthy program running coach. But they play good defense. Going up against Lagunitas, whoever Jim Lagunitas, the Miami coach who does great in tournaments. Of course, ran George Mason to the Final Four that one year. Always does Miami well. They're getting 7 points is a lot. That's all I have to say. Houston's a little hurt. They are getting healthier though. Although they look good. I don't want to fade Houston at all. Because when they look good, they look good. But I'll take Miami +7. They're playing those teams that should not have got past the first round, which they should not have beaten Drake. That was just, they beat them. They shouldn't have gone an 18-1 run, but they should have been out of the tournament. Those are the teams that once that happens, then they go on a run. Miami was the ACC champ in regular season. So 7 points is a lot. We'll take Miami, detonate that. And now I'm going to go to my bomb of the Sweet 16, and this is Xavier at Texas. T-Mobile Arena. Line is -4, 148.5. First of all, take that over 148.5. But we're going to go with Texas -4. We're going to absolutely detonate. Bob is my favorite play of the week. Xavier. Texas is good, first of all. Texas is legit good. They're really good. They were going to win in that. They were like one of the top 5 teams in the country early on. Like they're going to win that change. But then James Beard had a domestic violence situation, a dust up, if you will, where he got fired. It was kind of one of those hilarious things. Not hilarious things, obviously. Domestic violence is not hilarious. I didn't mean to say it that way. But it was funny where those situations are where he was drunk, got in a fight with his wife or fiance. I think it was fiance. I think that's important because I'm sure he did hit her. I'm sure it was bad. I'm sure she hit him too. Whoever drunken couple fight. She calls the cops. She's drunk, and then the cops come, and then she realizes, wait a minute. If I press charges here and he goes to jail, things are going to go bad for us, money-wise. I'm going to lose a lot of money. He's got a big-time coach here of Texas basketball. And then they try to talk their way out of it. Oh, I didn't want to press any charge. I didn't want to do any of that. And the cop's like, yeah, well, it's too late. You called us. We have to file a report. The cop, it's like once I start writing this ticket, it's done. Which I don't know if that's true. When cops love that. Once I start writing a ticket, I gotta do it. I gotta give it to you. It's in the books. And that's what these broads don't understand. Am I right, fellas? Once you call the cops, they're gonna do something about it. So but they do act like they can just like, well, but I don't want to press charges. That's not how it works. It's too late if you want to press charges or not. It's going to be in the paper. Incidents happening. Yeah, he might not go to jail and all that stuff, but people are going to find. There's no way of people not finding out now once you made that report. So he got, clear of the charges. Good for him. Blah blah blah. Now he'll go to Ole Miss and redo his career. But anyway, the point is Texas is back. So Texas had a lull after that happened, and now they're back to being what they were in the beginning of the season, and that is one of the best teams in the country. Earlier they hammered Kansas in that Big 12 championship game. They beat Penn State. Penn State was the hottest team in the country. Withstood their things, and they had a 10-0 run to finish them off. Although they fouled a guy shooting a three at the end just so they didn't cover. But -4 is a short number for Xavier. And the Xavier team who should have lost to Kennesaw State. I know I just made the argument that Miami should have lost to Drake, but Xavier really should have lost to Kennesaw State. And Kennesaw State is not Drake. And then they got to play Pitt after that, one of the worst teams in the tournament, an 11 seed who had a play-in game, their third game in 5 days. Just a joke of a fucking schedule to get up to this. I have no faith in Xavier. So Texas -4, detonation bomb. Just don't call the cops or there's going to be a report. -4. Bomb it. All right. Domestic. I was going to write domestic. Yeah, I'm not. Let me lock in the box. Let me get into the box here. Ooh, that's a tight box. Texas. There we go. Here we go, boys. Rally around Texas. Please spit the cow. That's the best part of the whiteboard. You get to spit the cow. Get out here. He's all right. Did they lose? Putting that I'm at Xavier. Xavier. Go execute. Go execute. Throwing whiteboards. That's what I do. I bring the paper and the passion. I bring whiteboards. I do have a clipboard. I told you that clipboard story at Burbank. I got a backup. Went to Staples. Remember what I asked? Where do you even get clipboards? And Staples, of course. But it just seemed ludicrous to me. All right, let's do a quick man in the box. That was fun. Oh, it's quarter to one. I need to get out of here. So we have an XFL show coming up. I don't have much to talk about in this box anyway. Not too many rants. I have a squirrel situation. I might as well talk about that. That doesn't get more man in a box than an old man in a squirrel situation. I have a balcony, and since it's LA, I store stuff out there. That's very LA. Normally people enjoy their balconies, have a cigar or something, or a lemonade, whatever, a drink, whatever it is. You take in the here because our apartments are so small, we pay fucking ridiculous amounts of money for it. I got paper towels out there and storage, soda, blah blah blah, everything. And a fake artificial turf out there, and we have these in that. Anyway, these squirrels. I live on the 5th floor. I have a balcony and a little pool area in the middle. It's kind of like Melrose Place, but it's more like assisted living, because we all are not attractive and we have like crutches and ointments and shit. But whatever. It is what it is. Every morning I have this squirrel come up and they just tear shit. And I hate squirrels anyway. Squirrels are rats with better publicists. They chew through your wires. They chew through everything, but they're cute and they're in Disney movies. They have bushy tails. No, they're disgusting. And they're horrible fucking creatures, and they're mean and they're jerks. Rats I respect. At least they're survivalists. Survivors. Should have just said survivalists. Yeah, they eat each other, but whatever. They're out there. They're out in the streets. They're burrowing. They're sitting. Squirrels are in nuts. They're in trees. They go and they fuck with your shit. They come every morning. This guy comes. And he just chews up wood, chews up whatever, chews up cardboard, and spread it over. And I go out there, and I literally have a broom. There doesn't get more old man than this. I'm chasing a squirrel with a broom. Get out of here! And I notice people are noticing me. shooing squirrels off my balcony with a broom. It's not a good look. I'm not known as a hot commodity in my building, that's for sure. I think a girl even said it to me when we were in the laundry. Like, oh, I know you. You're the guy who shoos the squirrels away. So that's what I'm known for now. The guy shooing squirrels. Today, he brought a second buddy. That's what pissed me off. He's like, wait till you see how mad this guy gets. And you got a two guy, and one guy doesn't look out, and the other guy goes in there for snacks. So I took the box away. There's no snack. There's no food out. I don't put food out there. See, I don't know what to do. Do I feed him and try to? People are like, feed him. I don't want these guys to become a friend. It's not like they're becoming friendly with it and he's going to that you do your bidding. They're going to torch. They're going to eat shit no matter what. They're going to go through your stuff. So I was told hot sauce. They don't like hot sauce. I don't know. Maybe they do like hot sauce. But can you put more on my nuts? Hot sauce on my nuts. You got a feeder? Do I trap them? What am I going to trap? What do I trap and do what with it? Kill it, show it to the other squirrels. This is what happens. I have a rat story too. I could get into. I'll do another rat story later on. This is getting late. It's getting late, and these squirrels are really bothering me. Someone said grease the poles like in Philly, but you put Vaseline on the balconies and stuff. But it doesn't matter. They climb through the walls, and he knows he gets me. And I heard this too, or I saw this on TikTok. If you do this motion, this like apparently this right here, if you do this in her eyes, it's mesmerizing me right now looking at the monitors. But this mesmerizes the squirrels. I tried that. It confused them, but he still ate the cardboard. He's like, yeah, what are you doing? I'll be back. And then he scatters around. It did not mesmerize him at all. But I swear he knows he's fucking with me. That's where it hurts. Like, I get it if he wanted to actually come to, but he's doing it just to get me. Like, he'll jump up there, then I get out there and he runs around the corner of the wall, and he'll put his head back in and he'll look at me right in the eye. Yep. I'll give it 2 seconds. Nope. Did you go? Nope. He's still there. And I'm gonna get my buddy. This is hilarious. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm losing my mind with squirrels in the box. I should just let him in. He ran right above my head the other day. That he was taunting. That was taunting. That was like what that he won a bet with. I think his other buddy squirrels in the trees. Like, see if you can go by his head and see if you can nip him with your tail or something. Which I think he did. Anyway, I'll continue with the squirrel saga. That's very well. So much. That was a long show. That was too long. I apologize. But it was a lot of games. Sweet 16. And because I'm not doing a show, I do shows Monday and Wednesday. I had to give out on Thursday and Fridays. And I can't give you Saturday and Sundays. But I'll recap that on Monday. That'll be my next to Bottom Line Bombs. Come back here on the YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs YouTube page. Watch it live stream on Mondays, 11:30 Pacific. Or subscribe to the podcast, Bottom Line Bombs on Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Spotify, iTunes, wherever pods are told. Give it 5 stars. Give it 1 star. I don't give a shit. Review, but just like it, subscribe it, review it. I don't care. But please do it. We need it. That's all I ask for you back. It's so thirsty looking for this. To recap, should we recap? You know the bombs. I don't have to recap it. San Diego State +7. I'll do it Friday. San Diego State +7. Creighton -10. Miami +7. Texas -4 is my big one if you really want them. My favorite play is Texas -4. And I love all the Thursday games too to watch. Not to bet. Anyway, that's going to do it this weekend. If you're listening, I'm in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Improv starting tomorrow. I fly out to early tomorrow morning, Thursday through Saturday. So come on out and see me do stand-up at the comedy at the Pittsburgh Improv Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If you're here this weekend, it should be fun. If not, that's it. Enjoy my favorite thing. Enjoy the games from the man in the box. Play the real theme.